Okay guys, here's what we got going on today. We're replacing the pads and rotors on my 2008 Nissan Versa. I've already taken everything off of this side, got it all disassembled, and that's the video you're about to see in a second. But what I want to go over right now is what we're going to need for tools. So you're going to need a hammer, preferably one that you don't care about particularly, because you're going to be hitting metal with it. There are two techniques to basically removing the rotors. Hammer is the preferred method. You're going to need a 14mm ratchet, and you're going to need a 17mm ratchet. You're also going to need some brake parts cleaner, there, and you might also want to get some liquid wrench penetrating oil. Alright guys, so first thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to jack up the car, put it on jack stands. My car's up on jack stands right now. And then after that, next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the brake mass cylinder right here. Just going to pop the cover off. That's because when we compress the piston in the caliper, we have to give that brake fluid somewhere to go, so it's going to come up just a little bit. It shouldn't come nearly close to the top, because mine's not very full. But it's going to come up a little bit, so we need to have room for it to move. So we'll just take that off and leave it right on top of the battery. What we got going on today is we're replacing my brakes. We're replacing both the rotors and the pads. The rotors, you can see, are very rusty, and they're also actually warped, which is why we're replacing them with these. You can see the difference there. So these are centric rotors. They're not exactly high performance rotors, but they're pretty good quality. It's an OEM quality. And for pads, what I have is these. These are Hawks Performance pads. They're ceramic. This should last me a long time. This should be really, really good. So that's what I got. Hawks. Could have gone with like an OEM type pad, but I really wanted to go with a more high quality one. So Hawks pads, centric rotors. So the first thing you gotta do is there are two nuts right here. I'll show you those. Two nuts. There's one right here, and there's one down at the bottom right here. And that's going to let us remove this part right here. So that's the first thing we're gonna get to. We're gonna go ahead and take those off. Just gotta find the right socket. Yep, and that is a 14mm socket, so I thought. So you gotta be careful, this brake line's a little bit in the way right here. Just gotta kind of gently push that out of the way. Might help if I'm going the right way. So, there we go. Yep. So yeah, they are tough to crack, but once you crack them, they just come right out, no problem. And you can lube these up when you put them back in if you're afraid of them seizing up. I'm not too worried about it because those came out really, really easy. Then, so what I'm going to do is we're just going to kind of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. Actually, I'm going to grab a bucket to set that on. Okay, so I got this box here. The reason I got the box is you don't want to let this hang off from the brake line. So once I wiggle it off, I want something to be able to put it on. So now I can put it on there. I won't have to worry about it hanging from the brake line. Some other people like to take it and just hang it off the spring. I'm not a big fan of that because I feel like it's just going to fall while I'm in the middle of doing something. I don't want to break it. So we're not going to do that today. Then these pads should come right out. There's that one. So just so you can see the difference in the thickness, obviously these are worn down. These have nothing left. Absolutely nothing left on these brake pads. Once you get down to this line, I mean, you're toast. So those are junk. These are going to be awesome. This one's a little less worn, but it's still very, very worn. A lot of brake dust in there. Yep. Okay. So, next thing we gotta do, now that we've got that off, we need to take off this right here because I'm replacing my whole rotor, not just my pads. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take off these, it's a 17 millimeter nut right behind the caliper. Right behind the rotor. To break this one, you might need to use a hammer. There we go. So that took quite a bit of hammering, as you can see. Not too much, but it took a good amount. There you go. That's what I just got out. Now we're going to get the bottom one. Which is in roughly the same location as the top one. Going. There we go. Got it. Whew. That took some force. There we go. Whew. Got it off. So the bolt. There you go. Socket got stuck to the bolt. It's off now, don't worry. Alright. So now, all we have to do is remove my rotors. Which, sure will be a blast. Because they're pretty good on there. So, we're going with the traditional hit it with a hammer method. Loosen up the rust. Why not getting used again? That's where liquid wrench is going to come in. We're going to spray some liquid wrench on there, wait a few minutes, and hopefully it'll be a little easier to get off. Some of this anti-seize in there. Great time for a soda break. Alright. Finally got this son of a bitch off. Took some serious hammering. Holy shit. Show you how much hammering I did. This is the back of the rotor right here. All these dents from the hammer. You can see how rusted it was in there. How caked on that was. It's bad. It was bad. You can see where it was grinding now. Right here is where it was making that grinding noise. But no need to worry about that anymore. So those are toast. Nice and greasy. Where it's the new one's on now. Okay guys, so what I'm doing right now is while I got everything taken apart here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the sandpaper. I'm just going to sand down this rotor here. There's some of the rust here. So, pull that back. Just a light sanding. And what I'm also going to do is, in addition to sanding down hub assembly here, I'm going to sand down just the top of this piston. Alright guys, so I know it's been well, you don't know it's been a couple days, but it's been a couple days. I got the wrong rotors, now I have the right ones, so I'm going to pull them on. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that part of the brake caliper assembly, put that back on here. Line up those bolt holes in the back, and this is the those two 17 millimeter bolts. Basically, I'm going to hand tighten these all the way down, and then I'll tighten them up with my socket wrench. There we go, good and tight. No, and just like that. So the next thing I do is to put my brake pads in. Which are right behind me, of course. There's the brake pads. They already have shims. We're gonna go with, they're different. So I'm gonna go with this one at the front. No real reason. Just open it up in the front. Alright, those are on. Don't forget about your brake. This is gear head grease pack brake parts lubricant. So let's read the directions. 1 to 2 grams to backside of brake pad, spread evenly. Simple enough. I'm gonna go put a glove on though, so I don't want to get grease all over my hands. Basically all you're doing here is lubing up the back of the pads, the back side here, and that's going to keep them from making noise. That's about it. Alright, let's take that. Oh, it's red. I didn't expect it to be red. So, and there we go, that's that. Okay, so what I'm doing now, guys, is I gotta compress the cylinder. Hope you can see this. I'm gonna move the camera. I gotta compress the cylinder for the piston right here. That's what I'm trying to do right now. What I'm gonna do, some people say use a wooden block. I just take an old brake pad. So, put that right there. And you're gonna take a nice C-clamp. You're going to need at least a 4-inch C-clamp for this. Try to get it fairly centered. Of course, the brake line in my car is the center, so it's going to be a little difficult, but we'll manage. So we're just going to tighten it up. And the goal here is to just put nice, even pressure and we're going to slowly compress that piston. And it's good to go a little bit and then back off and check, because you don't want to go too much at one time and then have a big gap. So I still need to compress it some more, so we're going to take it back out, back up, grab my brake pad again, and we'll try this again. And there we go, we're on. Now I'm just going to tighten it on up, and like I said, you don't want to overdo it. There we go. You don't want to overdo it. You want to go a little bit at a time and just take your time with it. Hand tighten these just like I did with those 17mm nuts earlier. Once I've got them as tight as I can by hand, take my socket and tighten them right down. There we go. That's on nice and solid, and that is one side all done. I'm still going to do the other side, but you don't have to stick around for that. And that is how to change pads and rotors on a Nissan Versa. So I hope this helped you guys out, and I will see you later. Alright guys, you remember earlier when I talked about how we're going to open up that brake master cylinder right here? Because the fluid was going to come up, and we didn't want to build up pressure. This is what I'm talking about. See this? This is my reservoir right here. This line right here, that kind of line that goes all the way across it, that's what the fluid was at before we compressed those pistons. pistons, and now look where it's at. It went all the way up into the neck. So it's right there. It was down here. Now it's all the way up here. So that's why you got to do that. If not, that's just going to build up pressure. And it'll either pop, or you'll have other bad things happen. So, that's why we loosen that. Just want to show you that. Got one wheel on. One wheel's on. Other wheel is about to go on. Now we can go for a drive and break in these pads. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and keep watching. Hit the subscribe button, like if you like it, favorite if you want, comment, leave a comment, get any questions to ask me. But yeah, that's it. So, see you guys later. Thumbs up.